Hello guys, welcome to my channel. This is Dima series. On today's video, I'm going to quickly teach us how to draft a pattern basic straight skirt that you can use as your high waist skirt suit, and from that same pattern you can get any other kind of skirt. Maybe later on I'll show us guys how you can achieve that. So I will just go ahead and give us illustration of how to get a very perfect fit. Yeah, because most people, they don't really know how to sew a pencil skirt. If you really want a pencil skirt that will suit well on you, you will love even while you wear it yourself, this video is for you. You can use it as skirt suit and all that. So I went ahead, get my guideline with my ruler, 1 inch. Then to calculate for this skirt, you divide your hip measurement by 2. No, let's work with hip 39, then 0.5 inch. You get, so I'm going to get my block of 40 on this pattern paper, then with the length and all. So before I calculate for the block, you go ahead and take out your allowance for zip. Yeah, so I'm going to mark out 2 inch. For your zip allowance, you can decide how many you want to use, but most time it's between 1 inch, 1.5 and 2 inch you get. So I'll go ahead and mark 2 inch to the length of your skirt, which is the hemline. So from this level now, I'm going to get my block. The block I'll be working with is 40. Remember I told us earlier, 39, then 0.5 sewing ease allowance. The importance of that 0.5, so that for freeness, because this skirt is a very fitted one. Unless you didn't, when taking your measurements, you didn't measure it so firm. So that is when you might have a little allowance. But if you really want it firm, like very penciled, firm, you have to get it. When taking the measurement, measure it properly, very fitted. Then you add your 0.5 sewing allowance. So I'm getting my block now, which is 40. 40 is 20. 40 divided by 2 gives us 20. So it's 20 I will mark all across to form your block. So I went ahead to roll it up all the way to the guideline. This side that I relax now, hope you guys can see, it's our center front. While the 2-inch zip side I took is our center back. So I'll go ahead to get the length of the skirt. For the skirt from the guideline, take it down. I'll be working with length 23. Then plus 2 inch sewing allowance, which is 25. So I'll score it out. So So guys, we've gotten our block. I just took my light, so I hope you can still see. So this now the block. So the next step we'll do now is to get the hip level. Your hip level is when you measure from your high waist to the fuller part of your hip. So that is what is called hip level. So I'm going to mark out my own hip level. My hip level is 9. I'm going to mark that out. So when you are taking measurements, you take measurement for hip level too. Now you mark it across the front and the back. And label it hip level. So the next thing we are going to do, we are going to divide this block 20 into 2. One for front, one for the back. So 20 divided by 2 is 10. We are going to get the midpoint of that 20, which is 10, 10. So you roll it out. The guideline up to your hemline down. So as it is now, we've gotten our hip measurement already. So what we will now work with is our waist measurement. So I'm going to divide it into 4. 30 divided by 4, 7.5. So I'll mark out 7.5 here. Center back, my 7.5. You mark it inward. This is center back, that is the zip side. So you mark in your waist measurement divided by 4 in, which is 30. Mine is 30 divided by 4 is 7.5. So I'm taking it from the center back inward, like so. Hope you can see. Then the same thing, the center front, you take it in too from this point. Remember I said this place center front, take it into 7.5. Right, so this is my waist measurement here for the back, this measurement for the front. So we are going to calculate for the darts now. So the calculation for the darts is, we are going to calculate the distance between your actual waist and the hip. You know the block, we already have our block as our hip. So the distance between here and here is called waist reduction. So we are going to divide it into 2. I'm dividing this place into 2 now. What I get here is 2.5. I'm getting 2.5 here. So divide 2.5 into 2. Then you mark the middle. Like so. The same thing you do at the back. It's the same 2.5. So you mark the middle of it. Like so. You label it back, front. So for this back now, the distance between here and here. Then for the front, the distance between here and here. We are going to merge it together to calculate for our darts. Hope you are understanding. Please don't be confused. If along the line you are getting confused, just come back and rephrase the video. So the back and the front, whatever it is, we'll divide it to get our dart. So it still came out to be 2.5. Hope you can see where I'm measuring the distance between here and here. This is the actual waist. This is the actual waist for back. This is the actual waist for front. I divided these two places, the distance between here and here. So from this actual waist, I'm going to square it out with my hip curve to 1/4 of the hip level. I'm going to measure from the waist to 1/4 of the hip level. This is the actual way to place it. Yes. So you mark it to 1/4. Hope you can see. Then the same thing I'll do at the front. Same thing I'll do at the front. Hope you can see. So this one now, we are going to calculate to get our dart. Before calculating our dart, we are going to get the dart line, the length of our dart. For the front, we are going to work with 4 inches, which is 4 inches wideness for the front. Then to half of the hip level, the length will be half of the hip level. Half of my hip level is 4.5. Remember, the full hip level is 9. So divided by 2 is 4.5, which is 4.5. Then for the back, to get the length of our dart, where our dart should start, you divide look at where I'm placing my tape, the center back, which is the zig side, to the actual waist measurements. That is the second one. This one. Hope you can see this one that I rolled out. I said, so we are going to divide and get the middle of it. The middle of it. Hope you can see. I just bent my tape, folded my tape to get it. So I'm going to mark from the center back to here. So this part now will be the length of our hip level. This one I'm getting 4.4. So you mark it to 2 inches upward above your hip level. You get. So this for our back darts. So the next thing now we're going to do, we'll calculate the distance between here and here. You divide it into 3 parts. Then you use 2/3 for the back. Then we use 1/3 for the front. So this 2.5. 2.5 divided by 3. That's what it will be. 2.5 divided by 3 will give you 0.8. So 0.8, remember I said we'll use 2/3 for the back, then 1/3 for the front. 0.8, we're going to mark it, this for the back now. We're going to mark 0.8. Hope guys, we know how to calculate our tape. It's very important when you are actually working with pattern, when you are drafting. If it's freehand, you can just approximate, but this one is not something you will approximate at all. 0.8 is here, so I'm going to mark it. Then so the 1/3 for the front is 0.8. We'll divide 0.8 into 2, which will now be 0.4. 0.4. Mark 0.4 like so. So I'm going to square it out. So these are standards. These are back darts. So I'm going to get the pencil shape. 1.5. You can use any amount, depending on how fitted you really want it to be. And you mark it to 1 inch. One inch down from your hip level. Very close line. For the front, so this is our block now for your basic skirt. From this point you can get every other type of skirt that you wish to sew. So the next thing we'll do, you cut it out. What we do now is to cut out like this. From this, cut it out like so. Then you now put your sewing allowance from here, 2 inch sewing allowance, or 1 inch, depending on, or 1.5, depending on how many inch you desire. I'm going to make a video on how I sew the skirt, and you'll see the fitting. So guys, if you watch to this level and if you feel you are confused at any point, please leave your question at the comment section. I will give justice to them, please. So just don't be confused. It's a very easy process and it's very perfect, as in when you sew it you see the difference. If you want it to have slits at the back, from the hem line you can mark 7 upward or 6, depending on how open you want it to be. So this is where our slits will be. So that is it for this video, guys. Catch you on my next video. Bye.